crap, I was going to use a photo for that. Well, oops. Okay, so anyway, so if you're joining me on Chronically Rah Rah, welcome to Chronically Rah Rah, Fight for Answers, Fight for a Cure. Or if you're on my personal page, welcome, and I thank you for joining me. I know how you guys can be spending your time, and you are choosing to spend your time with me. So because of that, I'm really, really appreciative. And I know I say that all the time, but I always like to make sure, oh, there we go, that's so much lighter. I need to get a deeper light. Anyway, don't look at my up there. So the title, When French Bread Kills. So of course everybody wants to hear about, how French bread caused me to go into anaphylaxis, and just, yeah, because everybody loves to hear stuff like that. They're like, ooh, something bad happened. Let's hear it. So anyway, if you don't already know, I have, and it wasn't really ever, it was a more mild degree of mast cell activation syndrome. So, and if you don't know what mast cell activation syndrome is, it's basically the mast cells in your body, they produce histamine, right? And which is great. Like, if it's a reaction you get, like if you get bit by a mosquito, or, you go into poison ivy, or if you broke in hives, that's because the histamine is releasing in your body, and that is in correlation with mast cells in your body, right? So, but what happens with mast cell activation is, in my case, or, in the people like myself who have mast cell activation, is the mast cells just basically give your body the big F you, and they just release and release and release. So what happens is it's causing your body to fire off and release just all this histamine, and it can cause a lot of different symptoms. So like, mild symptoms of, you've got urticaria, dermatographia, even like flushing. Most people think, oh, I'm, just flushed or whatever. Well, that's actually your mast cells releasing histamine. It causes a lot of GI issues, and in severe cases, it causes anaphylaxis. So I was like, well, I've got mast cell activation syndrome, but I've never gone into anaphylaxis. Woohoo! Until Sunday. So I had to open my damn big mouth. So basically what happened was, if you already know about my health story, you know that I'm pretty much on a clear liquid diet. I can't do solids unless if it's like something that can be mushy and like when it's wet, like pretty much turn into a liquid. So 90% of my diet is clear liquid. We're talking chicken broth, like chicken broth, beef broth, chicken stock. I do chicken stock and beef stock. Applesauce. I can do applesauce. I can do Jello. Some soups, as long as it's like tomato soup, if it's thin and it's good, something like that. So anyway, and every once in a while I'll deviate, and every single time I deviate, I pay the price. So, I ended up having a cupcake for my birthday, and that was a bad choice. Bad choices were made. So anyway, so I made some tomato soup, and I measured it, because everything I eat, I measure. I cannot ingest any more than 2 cups of food or liquid a day. Period. Like, if I do any more than that, it's just coming right back up. I get really sick. It's very painful. I don't have any more pain medicine, so it's not worth it. It's just not. So, and that in itself is causing some health issues, like some major weight loss and whatever. So anyway, so I measured it out. I decided to do 3/4 of a cup, because I was like, oh, well, I can do, I'll just do the bread. I can dip it in. It will get mushy. I can eat it. Freaking bueno. So I did that, and I ate the French bread, got it from a local store. So, and I'm not going to mention the store's name, although I am going to talk to them and let them know, hey, this is what's going on. But, got it from a local store. And within 5 minutes of eating it, I started coughing, and I thought it just went down the wrong tube, because I've been having issues with that lately, of food going down the wrong tube. So, but I'm not trying to get a swallow study done. So I don't really say a whole lot about it. But what happened, when I realized it didn't go down the wrong tube, Josh was like, well, are you just choking? And I could feel my throat swelling. It was getting itchy, and it was swelling, and I started wheezing, and it was like, and it's one of those things, like, it just happens. Like, when it happens fast. Like, and you have this instinct of, your frontal lobe, which is basically your rational side, right? It wants to say, hey, play it cool, like, it's gonna be cool, but then your basal ganglia takes over, which is your fight or flight side. And that's what mine did. Like, it just, when I realized I was having a hard time breathing and it was getting worse, like, I could feel my throat closing. It, like, I just, like, I was holding on to my throat. I was like, just like clawing at myself. And of course we didn't have an EpiPen, because I haven't needed an EpiPen yet. That's gonna change. So, Josh is running around the house, like, looking for my rescue inhaler, which we keep 3 on us at all times at 3 separate places for stuff like this. But for whatever the reason, we just couldn't find it. My medicine bag, like, it was dumped all over the floor, just clawing to find something. So we ended up getting it. We went through 2 separate rounds of my rescue albuterol using a spacer. So for anybody that isn't, like, a medical person, 2 rounds is 4 puffs using a spacer. I was still wheezing really bad. We keep liquid Benadryl on us at all times. Like, wherever I go, I always have Benadryl. I know better. I always keep my Benadryl. And did that, and I managed to be able to get down, like, no joke, a half a bottle of liquid Benadryl, like, just chugged it. Because I didn't want to go to the hospital. Like, if I could avoid going to the hospital, like, unless I was blue, and I wasn't, like, blue yet, like, it was getting there, but I wasn't blue yet, so we were going to the hospital. I know some of you were thinking, God damn, you were stubborn. I know. You are one stubborn son of a bitch. Oh, excuse my language. So anyway, so did that. But the problem with, if you've ever had albuterol or anything that raises, like, anything like an EpiPen or albuterol, so it's essentially adrenaline. And so it raises your heart rate, which, for a person like myself who already has a high heart rate, like, that normally rests in the 90s to low 100s, then we had the issue of my heart rate. I was still wheezing, because that whole fiasco took about a half an hour to get to where my oxygen levels were back up into, like, 95, which is good enough. 95 is good. But the problem is my heart rate then spiked into the 180s because of the albuterol inhaler. So we went from that to, my heart rate just was super high. And if you've ever experienced something like that, and albuterol, it's stuff like that makes you jittery anyway. Like, I was, like, I wish I could describe the feeling, but it was like, I couldn't catch my breath. My heart was pounding out of my chest. It was just, like, I looked at Josh and I was like, you have got to smother me, like, now. Like, take a pillow, smother me, because that's how it felt. I wish I had the words to describe it. If you would have seen the video, you guys would have been like, oh my God, what's wrong with you? Why aren't you in an ambulance right now? So, well, because if you know me, you know how stubborn I am. So, but anyway, with that said, even though I'm very stubborn, and I know you guys, and those of you that really know me know how stubborn I am, and know I am all about myth busting stuff. Like when I had my seizures, like when I had a red wine, I was like, oh no, not a problem. Like, keep on drinking red wine, had seizures. Like after 3 or 4 times of it, I got it. This, like, no. No. Like, this is one of those things that I will not touch it with a 10-mile pole. Like, in the last video, I showed the bread and I was holding it with a paper towel and I washed my hands afterwards because, like, literally that's how scared I was of getting contaminated. Like, it was the worst feeling on the planet. But yeah, that's what happened. French bread tried to kill me. And, you know, I imagined all these ways that I was going to die. And French bread was not on the list. French bread was not on the list of ways that I was supposed to die. So it wasn't in my plans. Oh, Jesus Mary. So with that said, I am going to be going to the store that I got the bread from and saying, hey, look, you know, this is what happened. I am going to explain my medical condition and just say, hey, look, you may need to put a warning on here that, you know, for people with mast cell activation syndrome to be mindful. You know, and again, I don't know if it was just an ingredient in it. We don't know what it was, but we know that it was some really scary stuff that we hope to not have to go through again for a while. But unfortunately, we have a couple of doctor's appointments this week, and so it is going to be mentioned, because we do now, because of that, I'm going to have to carry an EpiPen with me. And EpiPens are freaking expensive because, you know, pharmaceutical company executives can go straight to hell. So, yeah, I said that on a public forum. They can go straight to hell. So, yeah. So, we'll let the allergist figure out why French bread tried to kill me. Now I'm laughing about it, but at the time I was not laughing about it. Like, I was just, like scared. We were both scared to death. I was in tears. Like, nothing I ever want to go through again. And of course, now in the back of my mind, I'm like, crap. Like, when is this? Like, is this going to happen again? When's it going to happen again? Like, and unfortunately, that is the crappy part about having an incurable chronic conditions. Is this is the stuff that we have to worry about. And anaphylaxis, it is very, very serious. And I understand people are going to be like, you should have brought your butt to the hospital. And we will next time. Because next time, you know, and we have an EpiPen, you have to. It's protocol. You have to go to the hospital after you inject an EpiPen in you. But I didn't have an EpiPen, so I could justify. And I lived, so I justified not having to go to the hospital that time. So anyway, so that was my story. Sorry, I didn't mean to make that so long. So if you are a spoonie like me and you do have mast cell activation syndrome, just be mindful of that. That may be something to be mindful about. And, you know, as soon as we know more about it or we have any more insight, then, you know, we'll definitely share it. But anyway, with that being said, thank you so much for joining me here on the live here at Chronically Rah Rah and on my personal page. we are definitely going to be a lot more mindful about keeping up with Chronically Rah-Rah. I've just been busy with school, and which is good because it gives me a chance a couple hours a day to not have to think about being sick. And so if I can do that, then I'm absolutely going to do that. So, but we are definitely, we're going to be more mindful about keeping up with the Chronically Rah-Rah page, the Chronically Rah-Rah website. We do keep up with Chronically Rah-Rah on Instagram, so please follow us there. And we are going to be doing the Chronic Elephant. We are still going to do the Chronic Elephant. I'm just working on it in between classes and studying and stuff. So, again, thank you so much for watching us. If you know anybody that you think would benefit from liking and joining Chronically Rah-Rah, please refer them to us, because we really are about, breaking out the stigma on invisible illness and really bringing awareness on rare disease, such as the ones that I have. So anyway, with that being said, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful evening. You guys have a wonderful week. So try not to work too hard, and we will talk to you guys later.